Victoria Sadovici and I am Professor Assistant at the State University of Medicine and Pharmacy Nicolae Timițeanu. Today I'd like to invite you on an unusual journey from the hospital
to the museum.
Even in the middle of chronic illnesses, people have found ways to express what laboratory tests cannot show. They found ways to express their pain in shapes, colors, and lines.
Today, I'll be your guide on this short journey between medicine and art. Long before modern medicine could name or treat rheumatic diseases, artists were already observing them. In early paintings and engravings, we find bent fingers, altered posture, limited movement, and visible joint changes. These images unintentionally became some of the earliest visual records of rheumatic diseases. As centuries passed, art continued to reflect illnesses, sometimes openly, sometimes subtly. When artists themselves began living longer with chronic inflammatory conditions, disease was not longer only something to observe. It was a lived experience. Art offered a way to document not only physical change, but also adaptation, resilience, and identity in the face of long-term illness.
Art, in this sense, becomes the second medical record, not the one that shows disease activity, but the one that shows the inner feelings of the persons living with chronic rheumatic diseases. Before rheumatology had a name, gout made itself famous by being the most feared disease of that time.
In 1799, James Gillray vividly depicted the agony of gout in his print The Gout, a burning demon biting into a swollen foot, a striking and almost humorous symbol of sudden, overwhelming pain. Meanwhile, the early Netherlandish painter Jan van Eyck offered a more subtle view. In The Virgin and the Child with Canon van der Pelle, we see a realistic detail, a swollen temporal artery, likely reflecting temporal arteritis. These artworks, one dramatic, the other quietly observant, show how artists captured rheumatic disease long before modern diagnosis, each in their own language of human suffering. One of the most remarkable stories at the intersection of rheumatology and art belongs to the French painter Raoul Dufy. Dufy lived with rheumatoid arthritis, yet continued to paint, adapting his technique as his disease progressed. In the early 1950s, he received cortisone, and this medical breakthrough allowed him to continue creating. In response, Dufy produced a lithograph called La Cortisone. This work is more than a still life. It is one of the first paintings in history dedicated to a medical treatment.
Copies of La Cortisone still hang in medical centers as a reminder of the development that was possible because of the invention of this miraculous drug and the human story behind it. When we step from the clinic into the gallery, we understand that rheumatology is not only about joints and medications. It is about lives regained. It is about people who, despite their chronic pain, keep on creating, dreaming, working, and loving. Paintings remind us that our medications are not just to diminish the number on the disease activity score. It is to give somebody back their identity, the ability to hold a brush, the ability to hug a grandchild, or the ability to play an instrument. So next time we adjust the dose of a medication or start a new one, let's remember the museum as well as the hospital, the place where science and art meet together in order to share a common goal of preserving human identity.